Thank you for the invitation and for the opportunity to talk about this book, because Lina Bambina was born a long time ago. Even when my children were younger, I really wanted to pass on my knowledge, my experience in some way to them, so that I could create attitudes that are healthier for the world, to help them be more patient, to have no fears. And at one point, of course, I never hoped that I could publish this book. It was only for my children. But after some time, I started working at a fourth language high school, together with my colleague Martin Stoyanov, who is a psychologist at the school. In fact, I haven't been a teacher my whole life. I have been a teacher for 5 years. Before that, I worked in diplomacy. I am a translator, which may be a plus for my students, because I can teach them skills that are very relevant at the moment, not just knowledge. But I have the experience to teach them many different things. In fact, when I went to high school, it was a bit overwhelming for me. It was quite a challenge, because I expected that when I entered the classroom, there would be 20 students calmly raising their hands, and everything would be quiet and wonderful, and in the end, I would be thanked. Basically, it was like how a mother thinks that when she gives birth, everything will be perfect, the baby will eat, sleep, and everything will be clear. I thought the same way, but it wasn't like that. There are many children with high anxiety who find it difficult to maintain their attention, and I myself experienced very high anxiety from these things, which I also discussed in a conversation with the school psychologist Martin Stoyanov. I shared with him that perhaps the children, or rather the students, if they had read the book I wrote for my children, when they were small, might have viewed the world differently, had a calmer and more positive attitude, and been more well-rounded individuals. And he, for his part, shared the idea that perhaps after each chapter, since he looked at the book and liked it, she said, that it indeed instills such values, but the parent themselves must also know how to cultivate this attitude in the child. There has to be, after all, not every parent is a child psychologist. It's not a bad thing, but sometimes we make mistakes in parenting, and that's how the idea was born. I simply asked him to write a comment from the psychologist after each chapter on how to nurture these qualities in children.